If you're going to be tuning in for the first time, either live or once this goes from a live to a video after the fact, and you're just wondering who is this guy and why should I even pay attention to him, my name is Griffin Thomas. I own the company you probably see on your screen right now, Preferred Pest Management in the Dallas, Texas area. We've been in business now almost right at 4 years. We're about to go into year 5 next week. And on my channel overall, I just kind of document my overall business journey. I have over 800 or 900 videos at this point, just kind of documenting my entire business journey over the last, at least 7 or 8 years now. And I just, like I said, document all that for you guys, the good, the bad, the ugly. I took this business, specifically Preferred Pest Management, from zero, no investors, anything like that whatsoever, from zero, and a little bit of money I had from a 401k, less than $4,000, and I had about $8,000 of equity in a car that I had. Took that little amount of money and turned it into a 6-figure pest control business. And like I said, we're just documenting that entire journey. I found out that a lot of you guys apparently are starting your own pest control businesses, looking to grow them, things of that nature as well. So that's what we do over here. So if any of that interests you, go ahead and subscribe, join the community. We're getting very close to 3,000 subscribers at the time of doing tonight's stream. And before I get going, I just want to check some stuff on the back end and make sure that we're all good to go. Looks like everything is working properly. So yeah, we'll just kind of dive right in. Of course, like I said, I know we get a lot of newer viewers every single day, be it on the lives, the videos, things of that nature. As you can probably see, we have the chat pulled up all the time right beside, everything else on the desktop. So if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to drop them in the chat. That's what we're here for at the end of the day, is any questions that you guys may have. That's what we do the live stream specifically for. And then, of course, just like all the other videos, content that I put out, I just kind of catch you guys up on things that we've been doing recently, how things that we're doing have been working. If there's anything that we're doing that isn't working, tell you that as well. So, like I said, we'll just kind of dive right in while we wait on some of you guys to file in shortly. Hopefully, we'll have some of y'all filing in. I know it's getting kind of late-ish, depending on where you're at for a Tuesday night, but yeah, so far what we've been doing specifically since the last stream is we've actually done a couple pretty big things. So we did hire a actual SEO company for our website specifically. They are very unique compared to most SEO companies. Most SEO companies, when you hire them, they're just kind of quote unquote, taking everything over. They kind of keep you in the dark. They might give you monthly updates letting you know, like, this is, your rank tracking. You're showing up here for this keyword, things of that nature. And little pro tip that I've learned over dealing with some of these SEO companies over the last few years is if they tell you that, they guarantee to get you to page 1 within 30 days, 90 days, whatever the case may be, some short period of time, they're lying, but they're not lying like how you think, because they are telling the truth from the standpoint of they will get you to page 1, but it's for search terms that have no volume, no buyer intent. They're very easy search terms. I mean, even myself, doing everything myself, I've shown up for number 1 for certain search terms that are just unnecessary, things that are more, what's the word I'm looking for? Just informational. People looking up, how do I do this, like DIY, or, just some random keyword that doesn't even relate to your business whatsoever. Apologies, apparently my wife did not get the memo that I'm doing a live stream. Give me just a second. All right, we are back, and I think we had some of you in the chat too. Let me get it pulled up here. Let's see, how's it going, Jeff? Let's see. I'm about to hire a company called Pest to redo my website. Have you heard anything about them? I have not. I will look to get a hold of them, or maybe not get a hold of them, but like look into them, and let you know what I think. I know you're in some of the comments of some of the older videos as well, so I'll try to either find you on that. That's what I was wondering too. Were you saying Pest Pack or Pest Peak? Because I have heard of Pest Pack, like Genesis down here was mentioning Genesis Pest Management, um, but I do not recall. Let me see. Yeah, if it's Pest Peak, I do not. Man, this must be an emergency. Sorry about this, guys. Give me just a second. Okay, now we are back. Thankfully, it was an emergency at least. But yeah, let me see here if you said Pest Peak. So he says Pest Peak, owned by an Indian guy. Um, let's see, a few people have used him. So if you have testimonials, that's another thing, and I'll get into just kind of what to look out for with SEO companies, because that's actually what I was getting into before my mind kind of got rattled for a minute with all these phone calls. But let's see, Thrive, I've heard some things about Thrive as well. Um, and yeah, what I was getting into, and this will kind of possibly, not necessarily answer your question because I don't know anything about Pest Peak, but what I will say, like I was mentioning, when it comes to hiring an SEO company, things to avoid is any of them that say, we're going to rank you page one within 30 days, 90 days, whatever the case may be. You want to look for the ones that are brutally honest. Think of it like when you go to hire a lawyer. When you go to hire a lawyer, you're not looking for a lawyer that's nice, makes you feel good. You're looking for the lawyer that's kind of a dick, if we're going to be honest, right? The meaner they are, the harder they are, they get you the better results, right? Now, I'm not saying your SEO should be an a-hole or anything like that, but you want someone that's going to be direct with you, like ours, for example, the one we just hired here within the last month. They literally told me just with certain questions I had, they were like, we have all these measurements in place. You're going to be in constant communication with us, which we are. We talk on almost a day, not quite daily basis, but at least a couple times a week on average. And in terms of, just straight up guaranteeing you results, they're like, we can flat out not guarantee any specific day, any specific ranking. They're like, they could tell that I had enough knowledge to be dangerous, as I like to say. And, they were actually giving me my flowers with, how much I managed to do on this website on my own. And they were like, that's good for me, me, not them, but for me, because it'll help me keep any SEO company I hire accountable, because I know everything to look out for. I use all the tracking tools, things of this nature, so I can tell if I'm being sold BS or not. But what I loved was it's not just hiring somebody and they take it over. It's more of a partnership, which is a win-win. Specifically, a more win for us is like the solo guy or the guy with less than 5 techs, where we're just kind of getting our company up and off the ground, because it allows for them to charge a cheaper price. Because like I mentioned on this channel many times, good SEO is usually well over $1,000. If you're wanting at least a blog post a week, constant, SEO tweaking, make sure your website's firing, getting backlinks, things of that nature, it's usually going to take a lot of money. And this company here, they start out as low as, from what I understand, about $400 a month. And of course, you can pay them more. They'll put in more hours, do more blogs, do more link building, things of this nature. But like the plan we're starting out on is like $400 to $500 a month, just kind of getting started. They're fixing some technical things for the website, helping us fix some of the interface, just things that are going to take a little bit of time more than anything. But then going forward, we'll start cranking out more blogs again, doing link building specifically. That is the one area that we both agreed my website is lacking the most on. Is, if you compare our website to other websites that are outperforming us, we actually have way more content, better content, but we just don't have the authority, the link building. We have roughly 45 different URLs that are pointing to our websites. There's other competitors that have, on average, a minimum of 200 to 400 different URLs. And when I say different URLs, I mean different websites. So that's a pretty big gap, and that's going to take time to build. And I'm very interested to see it. I always suggest this time of year for looking at SEO as well, because one, we're going into slow season. You have more time to keep an eye on that stuff, dissect it, make sure you get the right company, all that stuff. But also, think about it. It's October, we'll just call it November because we only have about a week left of October. Say you start taking your SEO game serious at the beginning of November. Good SEO takes approximately 6 to upwards of 12 months, but the bare minimum 3 to 6 months to really kind of start noticing some differences. So let's just say 6 months because that's kind of the rule of thumb for getting started, noticing pretty good results. Say you start in November, what is 6 months after November? May, which is our busy season firing up for most of us, depending on where you live. Down here in Texas, it's like March, but either way, you're getting your SEO in order over winter while, hey, we're probably not getting as many calls as usual anyways. We have more time to focus on it. And then 6 months from now, you'll kind of start reaping what you sowed all throughout winter. Just like anything when it comes to, business at the end of the day. The more time you put in on the back end, you'll reap what you sow later on. What else was I going to mention about like what to look out for when hiring SEO? I mean, in all honesty, the main thing is if they're guaranteeing what sounds like the old saying, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. Same thing with SEO. You're not going to overleap a Terminex, an Orkin, a Rollins, or whoever is the biggest company in your area in 30 days or 90 days or even 6 months. But can you start to get up to page 1, page 2 for some pretty decent search terms that are going to get you traffic, and not just get you traffic, but actually get you leads? Absolutely. But that's the main thing I would look out for. I would just have a brutally honest conversation with them of, hey, what should we be on the lookout for? Is there anything that we can do? Give them an insight. Assuming you have some knowledge, which if you watch this channel enough and you look at some of our website heavy content where we talk about all the SEO stuff, which I think I have a playlist for you guys. I might be wrong on that, but either way, we got plenty of videos on this channel that will help you kind of become, like I said, at least knowledgeable enough to be dangerous, keep them on their heels. They know that they're not just messing with someone that, is trying to hire it out and forget it at the end of the day. Let me see. I want to catch up on some of these comments that we got. I've heard Thrive build some nice websites, and that's the other thing, guys. Ironically, the websites that I have seen that are constantly page 1, page 2 on Google, I would say at least half of them, if not more, look like shit, if I'm just being honest. Like from the overall aesthetic appeal, like even mine, like I'm not saying that like mine looks great or anything. I mean, this is actually pretty bland stuff overall. This is our homepage. We were making some tweaks recently and we're not even close to done, but like I said, I mean, ours by no means does it look, high end or great or anything like that. And I've seen websites worse than mine, is my whole point, in terms of the overall aesthetics, that rank page 1, and we're talking like number 2, number 3, number 5, we're talking high up on the list. So don't look so much for how nice is it, how cool is it. Look at how quick it is, the functionality, your bounce rates. What else? Of course, like we said, backlinks and all that will come with time. But overall, whenever you're first getting, say it's going to be your first website, because I know for some of you who are like brand new to the channel, some of you haven't even started your business yet. I want to just at least give you all like a good foundation, because the link building, blogs, all this, that just comes with time more than anything, time and money, obviously. But when you're first getting started and you're first building your website or having someone build a website, whatever the case may be, look at the overall functionality. There's free tools. Google actually has one. If you literally just type in test my web page speed, you'll actually see Google offers a free tool. If I can find it here, all these things. It's called web.dev. And you can literally, I can do mine real quick. It's probably not going to show that it's doing too good because I'm doing a live stream right now. And part of it, to some degree, does factor in like your overall internet speed. I will say too, mobile for every website is going to go slower than your desktop in terms of your results. I don't know why that is. I have tested probably at least 30 different websites just to kind of gather some information over the last couple years, and every single website, the mobile, more times than not, when you run these tests, load slower than the desktop. It's pretty interesting. Like, so you can see performance overall, it says 56. It's not very good in my opinion, but I have at one point had this as low as like 30 something. So, and then like we said, desktop, like you see performance at 92. Like, it's a huge difference. But like I said, you want to test some of this stuff out, go through, see if there's anything that, you can save, because, your website needs to be able to load in ideally less than a second, but at the bare minimum, less than 2 seconds, that page that you're testing should be able to load very quickly. My whole point in saying that is don't focus so much on the aesthetics early on as much as functionality, if that makes sense. Let's see. Pest peak, yes, right, we talked about that. Man, I don't know why the chat's kind of cutting off for me. Let me try something here. Try to widen this a little bit. Chat was kind of cutting off. Let's see, what do we have here? Good luck. Let's go and add music Moss. How you doing? Good. Thanks for your videos. Going solo in March. Good time to do it right before it gets super, super busy. Gives you a couple months to kind of get your feet under yourself. But yeah, no, that's awesome. Definitely keep us updated on your journey. I always love to hear updates from you guys. Some of you guys get so busy I don't hardly see you anymore. Like, there's one guy who sticks out specifically. His like YouTube username, I believe, was My World. He was actually one of the first viewers on a bunch of our like pest control content, pest control streams, things of that nature. He started probably at least a year or two ago now. We haven't seen a whole lot of them. So usually when I don't see you guys, it means that you're out killing it and you're just too busy to keep up. He actually hopped in a stream, I want to say within the last 6 months or so, and was just telling us how much he's killing us. So it's awesome to see. It's awesome to see you guys just killing it out there. Rich O'Cat, as spray season winds down in the Northeast, do your company spray up, high eaves, soffit, peaks? Oh, okay, like just spraying up for like spiders and things, I'm guessing. On houses as part of your regular. I mean, for the most part, no. I mean, are there rare cases? And of course, I believe there are a couple chemical labels out there, don't quote me on it, that say not to. So of course, obviously go by the label. We all know that whole, labels law, yada, yada, yada. But there are some rare cases for me where, like, if I have a home, of course, that's like heavy spiders, every time we go out there, we're having to Webster like crazy, and we just notice that pattern over and over. One, we usually make sure we have them set up on a monthly plan first and foremost, so we can get, better overall control. Sometimes bi-monthly, but usually we're pretty straightforward, either quarterly or monthly. One of those two. And then, like we said, occasionally, if I were to put a percentage on it, I would say 5% or less. And then, outside of that occasional one-off, if that makes sense. Hopefully that kind of answers the question, at least gives you some kind of idea. As you can see, actually, in the little video there, I usually go up to about the windowsills, essentially. And then, like I said, it's just kind of as needed after that. Let's see. And then, yeah, they brought up a good point down here. You can use Delta Dust on your, spider broom, Webster pole, whatever you want to refer to it as. The only thing I don't like about that, I only like doing that on light colored soffit personally, because sometimes, you just act, I mean, if you've put that dust in the Puffy D before, you probably know what I'm talking about. That thing will get clogged, and then out of nowhere, just get ridiculous and just have like a dust fart all over your Webster pole. And if you're trying to put that on a dark colored home, obviously it's not going to look very good, right? So that's a preference of mine personally. And that's also why, for the most part, if we end up needing to do something like that, we just go ahead and spray. We'll put the extension wand on the flow zone or the rig if you're using the rig for whatever reason still in 2024. And we'll also use, more times than not, like the pin stream nozzle, where it's just, instead of a fan, it's just literally like a pin stream. and we'll just kind of hit it real quick. That way the drift isn't too bad. Also, we got visors as well, because we use microencapsulated chemicals when we do that, because microencapsulated chemicals obviously work the best on spiders specifically, which would be the only reason we're spraying eaves in the first place. And the thing with microencapsulated chemicals is you get any overspray on your face whatsoever, you all probably, if you've done it before, you probably know what I'm referring to. Essentially, it feels like a giant like chemical burn. Essentially, hours later in the day, my face hurts just thinking about it. So we got visors for that as well. Obviously, pay attention to wind conditions. You all know. But yeah. WordPress SEO is important. Mobile is must have. Yeah, exactly, Jim. Yeah. You gotta. Yeah, if your website is not usable mobile, then good luck getting up those rankings at the end of the day. Steve said, how worried are you about the blood thinner ban? I'd have to read more into it. I think I know what you're referring to, because I think I've seen it in some of the groups. But as of now, in this specific moment, I'm not really worried at all. You know, it's just like anything else in business. Like, we always just gotta deal the deck of cards that, or the deck of cards, the hand of cards that were dealt, and you know, just pivot from there as we need to. Like I said, I know I have my class coming up. What is it, October 22nd? Here in about a month and a half or two. I always end up having that class right before Christmas, like usually a week or two before Christmas. So I'm sure I will be a lot more educated about that in the coming, 6 to 8 weeks roughly. But as of now, currently, I'm not really like worried per se. How's it going there? Pro State. I can't even pronounce that. Let's see. Yeah, the Delta Dust. That's right. Let's see. Hey Griffin, any referral for a good site to purchase BNG and Flowzone? Flowzone, you know, for the most part, just going through them directly. You can also get them through some of the other suppliers like Viserys, Target. There was actually a DIY company here in the like Plano, Texas area. They were selling the newest Cyclone, which of course the Cyclone is kind of the slightly less than Typhoon, right? But from what I've heard from people who bought the Cyclone on this crazy deal they had, they were like, you know, the Cyclone works pretty much the same. It's a slightly less GPM, but overall it works exactly the same. They were selling them bad boys at this little local like DIY place for literally like $200 or 150, something like that. Like crazy. I don't know if they just bought way too many of them and were trying to just get rid of them or what happened, but yeah. The main thing that I will do a lot of times, if I'm gonna be honest with you, is just I'll literally go over to Google and like we can just type in, you know, flow zone. Let's say you want the Typhoon. So I will say if you're going Typhoon, good luck getting like a quote unquote deal anywhere. As you can see, most of them are about the same. See, the Cyclone is obviously the cheaper of them all. But as you can see here, Solutions Pest and Lawn is doing the Typhoon 3 for $2.99. Not too bad. I find that just simply going through this shopping section will more times than not give me pretty good deal. You know, at least something $10 to $40 different than some of the other guys. So that's where I would start, and then from there, of course, just kind of literally scrolling through, see if Flowzone has any, you know, promos going on. Believe it or not, even sometimes on Amazon. I found Chemical one time on Amazon, like the official from the original manufacturer and everything. Forget which chemical it was. It's been a few months now, but it was like considerably cheaper, 10 to 15 bucks cheaper for a 32-ounce bottle. Just crazy. And then in terms of the B&G, it's kind of the same. I found my B&G, if you guys have seen that video from about I guess it was about a year ago now actually. I had bought a B&G with like the green. It was green instead of the traditional, black top or whatever. It was the green one. That was the only difference. 1 gallon and everything. And it was like $100 cheaper than all the other B&Gs. I mean, it was crazy. So, of course, I hopped on it and bought it. Let me see. Let's just type in B&G 1-gallon sprayer. Oops. See what we can find. So that's and this, by the way, I'm kind of intrigued about. I think I might have mentioned this actually in a previous stream or video, something like that. I will say I've heard a couple people that have used it and they're already having some issues with it, which is why I've held off on buying one because it is a brand new product Flowzone came out with literally within the last year, and I expect them to come out with an updated one probably within the next year. I don't have any insight on that or anything, but I would not be surprised if within the next 12 to 16 months, we see kind of like a 2.0 of this battery powered Flowzone, BNG, so to speak. When it does work, I've seen it in person. My cousin had one, and it works damn good when it is working, but I've heard that there's some issues with it too. So let's see. We have a B&G here with an 18-inch wand, by the way. That's good to have. Let's see, with a fan tip. 310. That's not too bad. This was the one that I got. I did not get it from Q Spray. I'm trying to see if there's just, like we said, just any kind of deal. Of course, you got the Versafoamer. 350. And of course, always be careful with those knockoffs. You just never know at the end of the day. Right now, I'm not really seeing any deals like I really am thrilled about. That one for, what was it, like 310. I think there's one for like 310, 315, something like that. That one's not bad, but occasionally you can get it for under $300. So and then of course you always have the Aerofog 1-gallon too. If you don't know what Aerofog is, it's pretty much the same thing as B&G, the closest to when we're talking about like generics or knockoffs, or you refer to them as. It's the closest you're gonna get, in my opinion, to the B&G. My cousin actually also had this a few years ago when he first started his business. They used to be a lot cheaper though, which is why I even didn't buy one, because I was like, man, it's one of them things. Again, it sounds too good to be true, but he said he did love his. But we were actually just talking about this, funny enough that I see this right now, because we were literally just talking about the Aerofog probably, man, 2 to 3 months ago. And I was just asking him some more about it because I was like, I thought you liked the Aerofog. What made you get the new Flowzone? And he was like, I was gonna buy another Aerofog and I needed some parts for it, and they've gone up a lot on their pricing on stuff. And like I said, I've never used it, so I don't know much about what their pricing used to be or anything like that, but I've heard that, it is pretty much, as we can see, about the same cost as B&G stuff anymore. So that's unfortunate. And if I remember right, don't hold me to it, but if I remember right, made in America on top of that for anyone that, cares about that. Let's see. Yeah, sometimes if we scroll around here, we can find some more. I think that's going to be it, actually. 248, that's the Versafoam again. So, yeah, like I said, I think as of now, that best deal was what? The one that was, can't even find it now. The one that was like 315. Maybe it was this one for, no, because that's the 9-inch. Where'd the 18-inch go? Was it this one for 320? I thought there was one for like 315. Either way, you're going to be looking at $300 to $400 at this point. Unfortunately, for the B&G. That is why, if Flowzone can get their act together with this new, whatever they call it, the Flowzone Storm, if they can get their stuff together, I mean, it's literally the same setup as the B&G, pretty much just battery powered. I know that, you can get the overpriced top for the B&G and it'll pressurize itself, but that thing's like another $300. Like, so you're telling me I got to spend over $300 on your B&G, then I got to spend about another $300 on, the pressurized top? I don't think so. I'm not spending almost $600 for a B&G when, like we said, if these work even just quote unquote good enough, you can buy 3 of them before you end up surpassing the price of those. So, hopefully that answers that question. Aerofog makes oh, there you go. Yeah, we were just talking about Aerofog. Aerofog makes an excellent compressed sprayer. Yeah, no, like I said, my cousin used his for, I want to say at least 2.5 years, maybe 3. before the, the new flow zone came out and he switched over, because he was, he's kind of more the penny pincher, so to speak. I'm kind of like, hey, if we got the money and we need it, let's go get it. Like, let's not mess around and try all this different stuff. Like, if we need it, let's just get it. He's kind of more of like the, I read the reviews, he does research on it all, essentially, like different products, and we'll try stuff out. And yeah, he said the same thing as you. He liked the Aerofog. Trying to think. I feel like there was some other stuff I wanted to get into tonight for you guys. And just in terms, and of course, if you guys have any other questions or anything, feel free to shout it out there on the chat. If you're not already subscribed, of course, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, all that good stuff. That way you will be notified when we upload a video or live stream. Hopefully with it going into winter, I'll have some more time to do a couple more live streams than I've been doing lately for you guys. It just all depends on how everything shakes out. By the way, speaking of the whole notification thing, real quick, some of you guys may have seen the post that I posted on YouTube a while back. Apparently, you can hit the bell notification, but if your YouTube notifications, like in your settings of your phone, are turned off, which this makes sense when you think about it, if you have those turned off, then it doesn't matter if you have the bell notification turned on, because if you have all notifications turned off in your settings, then of course you're not going to get notified. So make sure that is on if you want to be notified, as well as that bell icon. I just figured I'd mention that. I actually learned that from another YouTuber who I was wondering, why am I not getting notifications? And I realized I have all my notifications turned off for anything social media related. And there you go, right? So had to go back in and turn the YouTube one on at least. But let me see. Besides Google local service ads, which other lead generating services would you recommend? Of course you can. Of course, I don't have Google Ads pulled up right now, but you can try to learn and master Google Ads. You could do some of the other options like Thumbtack. Thumbtack, even anymore, from what I understand, has gotten overpriced to some degree, and the lead qualities. I have heard from not just my experience, but from a lot of other people's experience lately, that a lot of these lead generation services are providing some pretty bad leads right now. When I say bad leads, I mean unqualified, like people that just, from what it sounds like, just can't afford the service, or they just don't want to pay for the service, whatever the case may be. Sure, it could be economy related, because we all know a bunch of people that are laid off and this and that, and just having to kind of penny pinch right now. Hopefully things will change within the next 12 months or so. We'll see. Hopefully people learn their lesson after 4 years of this shit. I don't know. Different topic for a different day. But, yeah, me personally, I have kind of, over the last year or so, ever since our Google LSA started getting kind of wonky, we have kind of shifted away from a lot of those lead generation services like Thumbtack, Google LSA, what other ones are there, Angie, Yelp, etc. And we've kind of shifted more towards, like I was mentioning a little bit ago, SEO, hammering the website, hammering the Google business profile, making sure that's always up to date and optimized, replying to reviews, getting reviews, all that stuff. And then what else? Of course, Google Ads. Like, Google Ads would pretty much be the only other one. Of course, it is a little more expensive. And if you don't know how to run Google Ads, it may just be worth it, in all honesty, to pay someone else. The main thing is of course, just keeping up to date with, okay, what are we paying? Like, what is our cost per acquisition, not just from the Google Ads side of things, but after we pay an agency as well. Otherwise, of course, you can save some money if you want to be kind of self-taught. Or, of course, you can pay someone for their services to just teach you how to do it. There's a lot that goes into Google Ads. It's not just setting up the ad, managing the ad. There's creating a landing page. Not just a page on your website, but creating a landing page where they got nowhere to go other than submit a form, call you, or the back button. There's no navigation tab. There's no footer. Like, it's literally just like a print ad just on your phone or wherever they're seeing your ad at the end of the day. Home Advisor. Yeah, Home Advisor, if I remember right, them and Angie are now together. It used to be Angie's List and Home Advisor. I think now, if I remember right, they're both combined and just called Angie now. I might be wrong on that. I might have them confused with someone else, but I believe so. But yeah, those are kind of like what we're doing. And then, oh, speaking of which, this isn't necessarily a lead generation platform, but one thing that we have started doing lately is we got at least two. We have at least two over the next couple weeks. We're starting to make some like print material and things of that nature, because we're gonna start doing like events. A lot of these events, you'd be surprised, guys. At first, I was like, total fucking waste of time, right? Like, more than likely not gonna get any customers. If you do, it's gonna be bare minimum, things of that nature. But, oops, shit. Let me just set this down. I'm gonna mess around and hurt myself. Uh, cool. Where was I? Yeah, the events were so cheap, in my opinion. A lot of them have refundable deposits, or they're like $20, $25. So of course you have your cost for your stuff, the initial setup. You want to get, we got like a tablecloth back there. I don't know if y'all see, I got just a bunch of BS stacked up right now. We have the holder for the sign, a tablecloth, a table drape that goes over the tablecloth with like our logo and all that, the slogan, all that good stuff. That was that green one back there. But you have your initial cost of stuff. We got everything, another 500 plus business cards, everything, and then some that we're going to need for all the events of the future for 200 bucks. And then of course you have your random, do you want to put a game? We have one this Thursday where we're giving out, it's like a Halloween related event at a school, and you just give away candy for free and things of that nature. But you're getting in front of a bunch of people, you're building brand awareness. I suggest getting things, if you're going to do stuff like that, like get stuff that people are going to use, like pens, coffee mugs, maybe even bottles of some kind, or reusable, like the tumbler cups, things of that nature. That type of stuff can get expensive, I will say that. So you may start out with like cheaper stuff like pens and things of that nature, little widgets. That all this is going to have your logo and branding on it, is the whole point, because you're just using it as brand building, but also networking, because at a lot of those events you end up meeting people and you never know. Like, some, I forget who it is now. One of my mentors always said that you are one handshake away from opening a crazy door of new opportunities for your business, or even just for you as an individual at the end of the day. So the more hands that you shake, the more people that you talk to, you're just opening yourself up for more business at the end of the day. We can do all this online stuff that you guys know I love. I love the online stuff. I love SEO. I love building websites. I love building landing pages. Like, I love it all, but that can only take you so far. You're only going to get, you can only have so many Google business profile locations. You can only have so many different Google ads running. Like, you're going to tap that out eventually. And that is where you have to start kind of pivoting to, okay, now what? Do I want to go knock doors? Do I want to go to events? Like, me personally, I like the events more than door knocking, because door knocking, it's a whole skill, first of all, that you have to develop. It's not just like, an event where you just set up, people are coming to you just like they would calling you up online and things like that. And then, it's just not for me personally. I'm self-aware enough to know that I'm not a door knocker at the end of the day, but you put me in front of, an individual, couple people, I can sell all day. So let's see, what do you mean by event? I mean, pretty much any type of event where they allow vendors, right? Like the one we're going to this Thursday afternoon, it's called like a fall festival, I guess you can call it, like a Halloween or fall festival. We have another one in the first weekend of November, like the 2nd. It's actually, that one it's hosted by our neighborhood. It's like a giant, I don't know if you want to call it like a block party or what, but it's a huge, event. And there's over 400 homes in our neighborhood. So that's over 400 homes of home, either buyers or renters at the minimum, that you're going to be exposed to, that could potentially do business with you. If we have let's say there's about 350, we'll call it homes. Let's say there's roughly a 20% showing, probably more if I'm gonna be honest, but let's just, again, I always like lowball estimating everything. Say there's only a 20% show out, so you're talking roughly 70, maybe 80 people that would show up in terms of the actual homeowners, or actual homes, so to speak, not 80 people total, but 80 homes, right? Let's say we only convert like what, maybe a best case scenario, 5%. That'd be what, four, 3 or 4 sales. And then, there's things you can do where you can get their contact information. Because, like I said, we're not going into a lot of these events planning on selling our asses off, right? Like, if we can get one sell or more, like, awesome. Like, we at least paid for our time to show up here at the end of the day. But what we're also doing is we're getting people's information. We do, like, what we're planning on doing is setting up like drawings. So you'll have cards that people put like their name, phone number, email address, just 2 or 3 things on there. The less you have, the more likely they are to fill it out. So we're just going with like name, phone number, and then obviously they put it in the box. You have some type of prize. You give out the prize after a couple hours, and then boom, it's over. You gave up roughly probably like a $20, $100, whatever type of item that you ended up giving away is your cost, but now you just got 50, 100, 200, who knows, depending on the size of the event, maybe even a couple thousand. I went to an event hosted by like some Jeep crew or something over in Rockwall, Texas, and there was thousands of people that showed up to this event. And imagine if you got a couple thousand people's, contact information. You can plug that into something like MailChimp, some type of marketing software, and then boom, just shove out, nice to meet you, whatever the case may be. You start building a relationship potentially with them. And then, of course, they have the opportunity to opt out. You get all those out of there. And then everyone that didn't opt out, you just boom, 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 just hit them over and over and over until they either A, opt out, or B, sign up with you for some type of service. So there's a lot of ways. You just, like we said, that's business. You got to think outside of the box to some degree. And a lot of times it's not even thinking outside the box or rethinking the wheel. A lot of this stuff is literally seeing what other people are doing and then thinking, okay, how could I apply this to my business? That was what I did when we went out to that event that was hosted by Jeep. I literally left that event and told my wife, I'm pissed that I did not know this event was happening and that I didn't sign up. And I was like, we're going to start doing events. Like, we're going to go to a bunch of just different events. We're going to get on Google once every week or two, find some events that are going on in areas that we service. And we're just going to start setting up. And, we'll do probably 10 to 20 of them, see what happens. If it doesn't, turn out to be really worth it, okay, whatever. At least we tried. But, again, it's not even so much thinking outside the box or making the wheel. It's finding what other business owners are doing, looking into them, seeing, okay, they seem to be pretty damn successful. Maybe I should pay attention. And how can I do what they're doing in my own business to get more customers? So, yeah, that's what I meant by event. And that's, like I said, kind of what we're doing in terms of, besides, back to Freddie's question, besides LSA and lead generation, that's kind of what we're doing right now, especially during, again, the slower months when, outside of hammering SEO and things of that nature, you can only do so much of that. And there's only so much pest control, rodent and wildlife stuff to do. So whenever we have some free time, why not at least put that time to use? Kids can have a fun time. If you're like me and you got little ones, they can go have a fun time at the bounce houses or whatever the case may be while you're, networking at the end of the day. But yeah, let me see. I want to make sure that our stream is still doing all right for you guys here. Making sure it says excellent connection. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, see, we have about half a dozen of you or so in here too. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the stream. If you are, do me a favor, smash the thumbs up button. And even more so than that, if you know someone that could potentially benefit from either the stream or the content on this channel, do us a favor also and hit that share button and share it with them. You can share it through text, Facebook, Twitter, anything like that. I think even Snapchat, Instagram, all that fun stuff. But yeah, we're on that road to 3,000 subs. That last I saw, we're like 20 away, 20, maybe 30 away from 3,000, which is just crazy. I did not know when I pivoted from stock market stuff, because if you go through my channel long enough, you'll see I started out my entrepreneurial journey flipping stuff on eBay and Amazon, Then once I started building up a little bit of money, I started trading futures and options and things of that nature in the stock market. And then my wife got pregnant out of the blue, F around and find out, right? And I had to get a little more serious in terms of just overall career. That was when I got into the pest control industry. And, now we're here, and this space, pest control, is where the channel really started taking off. I had about 1,000 subscribers, doing the reselling and doing stock market stuff. But I did not realize how many of you guys are in, not just one, in the industry, but two, have that aspiration and desire to start your own pest control business. Like it's just awesome to know that, there's a huge community of us. Like I've said before, in the future, once I'm a little bit more hands off the, field work and I have more time behind the scenes, I would love to end up doing a live like event or meetup, something of that nature, where we can all, fly everybody in to the DFW area and do like a big, either, I don't know, like I said, just either an event or a meet and greet, like everyone, networks with each other, whatever the case may be. What's going on there? Bug out, termite and pests. Just saw you were live. What's up? Yeah, it's been a while. Like I said, I'm trying now that we're slowly transitioning into quote unquote slow season, if there is such a thing down here in Texas. I'm trying to get back on the horse a little bit for you guys in terms of doing these live streams. I've been somewhat consistent with at least posting videos for you guys, but I know a lot of you guys love when we do the live streams too. So I'm trying to, again, at least get in the habit of, at the bare minimum, doing 1 to 2 a month. And ideally, like we said, once a week is the goal, but if we can at least do a couple a month for you, that'd be ideal. But yeah, hopefully you're doing good as well. Also, breaking news. I don't know if a lot of you guys noticed this or not. If you're in our Discord group chat, you did not miss out on it. As I always forget people's names in here. Who was it again? King Matt, I believe, mentioned GorillaDesk, which we can go back up to the original. So limited time growth plan rates. They dropped all the rates for the growth plan considerably. One schedule, instead of $299, it was $149. Two schedules at $349, et cetera, et cetera. It goes up $100 per schedule, right? That was pretty big news and unexpected. I did not hear anything from Chris. Me and him are friends on Facebook. We don't like talk every day or anything, but I didn't hear anything from anyone that this was coming. I learned, like everyone else learned, in their Facebook group. I believe it's called the GorillaDesk forum, if I remember right. I just happened to hop on Facebook in between stops one day, and sure enough, that was one of the first posts that I seen. It said, for a very limited time, you can go from the pro plan to the growth plan for about $100 to $150 less than the usual price. And even better, it's not just a limited time that it's going to be at that price. If you were to sign up at that price, you are grandfathered in at that price too. So that was awesome. I hopped on it. I hope some of you guys did. I don't think it's any longer available. You could double check and see. But we actually just got access to this today. Trying to see if I can find some details, like some differences. So you have custom fields, custom job statuses. Matter of fact, what we can do is just kind of show the plan, I guess. So this is the difference essentially. So what comes with it is obviously everything with these first two, but they use AI technology to give you what they would call the best available time. I haven't used any of this yet. I just got access today. Best available time, job magnet, dynamic estimates, which means you can, instead of having to do an estimate for one option and then another estimate for another and another estimate for another, this usually applies to if we're trying to explain to someone the difference between general pest control, pest and termite, or what we call our preferred protection plan, where it's our everything plan. Instead of having 2 or 3 separate estimates, you can just put kind of good, better, best, or You know, you could do required, suggested, the bet, like whatever you want to name them. At the end of the day, you can put it all in to one estimate now. What else? Estimate packages, smart views. I don't know what smart views is. Like I said, a lot of this even I'm still learning about. But the other thing too is the only thing that I wish this plan would include, which the more I'm looking into it, the more I realize why it doesn't, because there's a lot of cost on GorillaDesk's end, which would make this even more expensive if they did, allow it or put it in that package, is the VoIP option. Because if you throw the VoIP along with the growth plan, oh my God, everything is all in one at that point. The downside of, like I said, that not being included is if we go over to what is it, add-ons, I believe. If we go down in here, of course, you can add the SMS on there as well. But say you wanted to do the VoIP option, most people are going to go with this option. But as you can see, that's still $95 a month. And then, of course, your usual like $45 per user. But then also, like, yes, you do get $10 a month of VoIP credit, which is usually more than enough for most businesses. The one thing I don't like too with this option is it's 90, only 90 days of call recording. It's not the unlimited. If it was unlimited, it would be nice because, again, you guys know I use open phone. Don't want to show a bunch of people's stuff. I don't know why I did that. But you guys know I use open phone, and the beauty of open phone is everything, it's unlimited, all of it. Like, I had a customer who tried claiming something about less than a week ago, and I went back through all of our texts, all of our call recordings. I made her aware that, hey, I looked through all of our text history. My software literally keeps all of our texts, all of our call recordings, like everything. And I was like, that was never mentioned in any conversation we had. And I was like, and I know for a fact I would have remembered something like this. It would have been in your service agreement under client requested amendments. I was like, it's nowhere in your account whatsoever. Like, totally fabricated BS. Like, I pretty much called her out on it. But had I been on this and it was only 90-day call recording, I wouldn't be able to say that for a fact. So that's why I wish, and this used to be 30 days, by the way. So, to be fair, like, they're giving more and more, it looks like. But if this could be unlimited, I would like it a lot better. But even then, like we said, another $95 whenever I can have open phone for a full year, that comes out to what? I mean, let me just do this real quick. Analytics, or not analytics. Let me see. Settings. Let's see. So it comes out to what, $318 a year for that. And that's with an additional number too, because you guys know I ported in our original number too. So I mean, for most of you, you can take $60 off of that, $258 essentially for the year for just one person. And little tip, by the way, if you have your wife or someone like that answering calls for you, you don't need to worry about creating an account for them with open phone either. We had one the first year because we thought you had to for my wife, which essentially doubled our cost for the year. We took her off just to kind of test it out. I was like, download the app still, like undownload it, download it again, and log in with my information instead of your old information. And she was able to use it, and it's exactly what we want anyways. We want both of our phones to ring at the same time. That way it's just whoever can answer first gets to the customer, or the lead, that is. And yeah, so a little hack there for those of you that, you're wanting that ability, but you don't want to have to pay for another user. You don't have to. So my whole point is, when you're comparing the two, again, deduct the 60 because most of you guys won't worry about porting in a second number like I did. So it'd be $258 for the year. Unlimited call recording. It has integrations too. Like, what happens is as soon as a phone call ends, it gets entered into GorillaDesk as a lead automatically, because we use Zapier to set that up. It's not perfect, but it at least sets it up to where all we have to do is go in there and then boom, add them as a customer, add in a little bit of information we need, and then we're good to go. It's just a little rich. Like I said, I mean, if you don't know anything about VoIP services and you just kind of want to have everything all in one service, then this option with GorillaDesk, along with the growth plan or even just the pro plan, but specifically with the growth plan, diabolical, like crazy, awesome stuff. And someday in the near future, within the next year, maybe I might go ahead and activate this, especially once my year is up with Open Phone, since I already paid for the year. But because, if I'm in at 149, you add another $95 a month plus the $5 for SMS texting, so we'll call it $100 a month. That still puts it at only what, 250 a month? Like it's not the end of the world, but I can't justify it when I've already paid for Open Phone for the year. That's just my 2 cents on it. You guys know I love GorillaDesk. We got affiliate codes for you where you can try out the pro version for free 14 days. They don't ask for your credit card or anything like that. So if you want to try them out, you can. Same thing with Open Phone. You now have an affiliate link down there as well. All these links are in my LinkTree, which should be in the description box, where you can try all this stuff out if you want. But yeah, that's the setup that we got right now. But like I said, that was some breaking news I wanted to cover, because if it is still going on, I would definitely suggest, if you're on the pro plan, you might as well make that jump for the extra $50 a month. Like, to me, it's a no-brainer. They're not like paying me a single dime for, plugging them in this video or anything like that. It's just, like I said, if you're trying to use that plan and you want to save $150 a month, there you go. Let's see, did I miss anything? What's up, Griff? What's going on, Karate Chit? Been a while. I like the new deposit feature. Definitely going to start using it, especially for commercial accounts. See, I don't even know what you're referring to right now. I'm like so behind on it, but they're like releasing features like rapid fire right now. I'm gonna have to like literally sit down, especially now that I have this growth plan, and like just go to work in terms of like I literally just activated this custom field. I don't even know what custom fields is. I do love the custom job status, because you just have certain customers that like you need that custom status for. If you've been in business longer than 90 days, you probably know what I'm referring to. But I love that. I'm very, like I said, I mean, they continue to make this stuff better, and the fact that you can be grandfathered in at that pricing, the opportunity pipeline, we haven't even gotten into that. That's like a whole other crazy thing that's just gonna be, again, just mind blowing, especially if you compound that with the VoIP option, which, like we said, me more. I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, I'm saving 150. I spend the 95, I'm still saving $55, right? That's how my wife does math, at least. But man, I mean, there's just some crazy good stuff that they're doing right now at GorillaDesk. Like, hats off to Chris and his team, because like, I mean, like I said, they're like you said, I don't even know what you're talking about right now. Like, it's just, yeah, I'm gonna have to go through here and probably do like a crazy. This is what I was talking about with Zapier. Definitely activate the API. That way you can use Zapier options and things of that nature. It's on estimate forms. Oh yeah. I do know what you're referring to now. Yeah, where say it's a bigger job or whatever the case may be, you can require a certain amount down essentially, and then it automatically deducts it from like the overall total, if I recall. Yeah, I know what you're referring to now. Thank you for the clarification as well. All right, let me see. Do we have anything else? And like I said, hopefully you guys are enjoying the stream as well. As always, taking some information of some kind for it. Like I said, this is kind of, I don't want to say like a catch-up stream or anything, but I'm more so just, like I said, just going over things that like I'm learning, of course, answering your questions. Um, Another thing that I get asked a lot about is like where to get like yard signs and things of that nature. We use blackburnflag.com. As of now, I don't have like an affiliate code or anything like that. They probably don't even really know I exist or anything like that. But I'm trying to see if this thing will load. We get our yard signs and things of that nature through them. They have some of the best pricing out there. They don't charge you an arm and a leg to upload your design. I think it's like a one-time fee of like 20 or 25 bucks. Um, I believe this is the one that we use here. Let me log back in real quick. I can show you guys like our very first order ever with those guys. Let's see, log in. Trying to see if I can see like my old orders. It's been like a year since I've bought anything from them, but like looky there, that included 100. So for $135, that also included the, like I said, it's like a $20 or $25 fee, just a one-time fee. Now if you do a redesign, then you got to re-upload that design. So of course that's going to be another $25 fee, which unfortunately I need to do because I want to use a specific marketing tracking number with CallRail. That way we can know like, hey, what's our ROI on these signs? But let me see if we can actually see like just an example of like this is just kind of a basic sign we made like for the yard sign. So it came with what 80 of them, which included the stakes, printed front and back, up to 2 different ink colors. Like we said, $25 setup fee. Let's see. Yeah, the shipping is what was the worst of it all. Like I did not care for how much the shipping cost, but where's the picture? I want to try to find. Let me see. Maybe downloads. I'm trying to show you guys what our sign looked like. It was just like a little, like you see, 6x6. Maybe if I click on it, see if this works. Come on. Everything's taking a little bit longer to load. Maybe if I close some tabs out, we will get that to load quicker. So it's not showing me mine still, but it looks somewhat similar to this, just with my, my own deal. It's frustrating that I can't see. But yeah, as you can see, like you can go through here and literally pick what size you want, one-sided or two-sided. Do you want more colors or just, 1 to 2? How many do you want? Obviously, the more you order, the cheaper it's going to be each. Let's see, 1,000 with stakes included versus, if you did the minimum 80, it's 65. So what you're talking just under $1, where you can get 1,000 of them for, we'll just call it 300 bucks essentially. So you're talking like what, 33 cents roughly each. I mean that's pretty good savings there. What else do you want? How would you be printed? Um, Previously uploaded file, or like we said, you upload a new one, and then I guess you might have to re-upload it apparently. But yeah, you just like I said, go through here, and then it'll literally tell you, let's see, same as the front, and then there you go. And that's the other thing. You can do a custom cut too. So say you have one of these cooler, you're good at what do you want to call it? I guess design or whatever. Say you're an expert at that kind of stuff, and you have a custom, logo or whatever the case may be. That would be a pretty cool cutout. It's only $10 extra to get that, specific look that you're wanting, or you can just do what I did, which is, you just have the square with, you know, whatever your thing is. But like I said, I mean, overall, 1,000 signs for less than 300 bucks. Or how much is 5,000? I'm interested now. No shot. 290. There's no way that it's 5,000 for 290. Really? Well, if that's the case, I'll probably just buy 5,000 going forward. But Was that right? Let me try this again. 1,000 for 296. This doesn't even make sense. That's got to be a glitch. 5,000. That doesn't even. I might have to go ahead and put an order in tonight. See if it'll go through for that price. But either way, yeah, like I said, I mean, Blackburn is who we use. They got a crazy amount of stuff. You got flags, you got, of course, paint for whatever. You got different types of signs, like actual legit, like yard signs, banners, fan signs, custom marketing. They got tapes. They got, custom stickers. You got um, door tags, of course. I mean, they got just about everything you can think of in terms of, yard marketing, I guess we can call it, marketing in the yard, so to speak. But yeah, that's a common question, I guess. So I always like to hit on that when I remember to do so. Trying to think if there's anything else really tonight that you know, and that any of you would really care about in just terms of overall updates or things that I've like learned recently that could benefit you guys. Of course, a lot of you know we're on our mission to save up as much money as possible to have at least a 3 to 6 month, what I call an employee emergency fund. Based on how this month is going, we're probably already going to have at least eight, maybe even $9,000 saved up towards that. Based on my math, starting a guy out at $20 an hour, 40 hours a week, with a $410 a month car payment, $250 a month added to the commercial auto insurance, which, by the way, we pay every 6 months, which is why it's not quite as much as some people. Just, everything, even benefits, things of that nature, it comes out to like just under $5,000 per month with your payroll tax. Like I said, everything, benefits, payroll tax, everything. Just under 5,000 a month to employ that guy, and that's just at $20 an hour. Like we said, and I've done a whole video on this, so I'm not gonna like dive into it. It's either a video or live stream. You can use this calculator and actually add up a lot of this stuff. But my whole point is you want to have like a what I call an employee emergency fund. That way you can avoid having to lay someone off or just be in a real bad situation. Like I said, find out what it's going to cost to keep your employee hired if you had no money coming in whatsoever to pay him, and just multiply that by at least three. And then, like for us, like I said, that's a minimum of about 15,000 essentially. So me personally, I'm not going to hire somebody until we have at least $15,000 in business funds just set aside for, the worst case scenario essentially. So let's see, how's it going, King Matt and WTF Google? Just tuning in. What do you mean about the open phone zaps not being perfect? More so than anything, just duplicates. And to avoid duplicates, you gotta pay the $30 a month for Zapier, like Plus, I guess you want to call it. I don't know the actual. I think it's like Pro or something like that. But to be able to put the if then in there in Zapier to where you don't get duplicate leads. What I mean is like literally say someone called us today and they're a new customer. Cool. It enters as lead. Say they call us again, it's going to enter as a duplicate lead. So like once a month, I got to like go in there and delete, or you can merge it into the same account, whatever you want to do. Deleting is easiest, but it's just kind of a pain. Like I said, I mean, in the long haul, I'm going to end up doing the VoIP option for the 95 to 100 whatever a month. It's worth it in terms of there's time savings, headaches, all that stuff. It's just like I said, the fact that it's nothing to do with open phone. Like I said, it's Zapier, whatever you want to refer to it as. Open phone, I have zero complaints still. Best VoIP provider, best price. I mean, hands down. Now they also finally offer, from what I understand, 24/7 technical support as well, which was not a thing just a couple months ago. You had to email them back and forth, so it would take a whole business week to get anything done if you had an issue. Now they have pretty much 24/7 support from what I understand. So they're another platform up and coming that is getting better and better. I've been meaning, as a matter of fact, to see if they're like looking for like any angel investors, because I know a couple who would probably want to invest with them. But yeah, they're another up and coming platform that like I said, I got no complaints of. The only reason that I would change is purely for simplicity, speeding up everything, saving time, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. The quicker and more efficient we can do things, the better it is for our business, the better it is for our future employees, and the better it is for us as the business owners at the end of the day. So let's see. Would you just use GorillaDesk in future for incoming? Exactly. I wouldn't use OpenPhone for anything at that point. OpenPhone would be canceled altogether, because all of the incoming calls, leads, everything would be going straight into GorillaDesk at that point. It would cut out the quote unquote middleman of any like phone provider or VoIP service, if that makes sense, because all that OpenPhone is, it's a VoIP service. It's just a cell phone service essentially, without the actual like internet service, if that makes sense. So all it is you answer calls, you answer texts, things of that nature. That's it. You have to go into GorillaDesk, and once the call ends, since we have it set up through Zapier to, as soon as the call ends, put it in as a lead. All it does is it puts in the carrier, whoever's name is on the carrier plan. So a lot of times it'll get the name wrong too, because it'll be someone's mom who's like the person of the plan or whatever. So like I said, you usually got to go in there and edit some stuff anyways. But yeah, no, everything would be in GorillaDesk at that point. It would make it where you have no need for anything else whatsoever. And like I said, if I hadn't already paid for the year on OpenPhone, I'd probably go ahead and just make the switch now. And the fact I just paid it like 2 or 3 months ago too. So let's see. GorillaDesk is amazing. Switch from Pest Pack. It's 100 times. Oh, I totally agree. Totally agree. Isn't OpenPhone unlimited SMS? Yeah. It is. The only, like, I think what you're referring to is like in GorillaDesk, they have the SMS texting, which is the $5 a month plus the price of the SMS. So the whole price of the SMS, you pay like for the credits. So yes, like that's not a monthly charge. It's just as you run out, you have to pay for your SMS credits. So yes, that is another cost that has to be considered. Me personally, I would just load up with the $400, your 16,000 SMS, like that would last a good amount of time. Matter of fact, we can even look in our analytics real quick just to see last 4 weeks. 1,000 messages. That's hilarious. Right at 1,000 messages. So in 1 month we used 1,000 messages. That means for a whole year we can estimate. I mean, let's just look actually over the last 12 months. Last 12 months, less than 12,000 messages. So if I went ahead and did the 400, that's more than likely going to give me roughly a year or a little bit more of messages as well. So if you divide that out over 12 months, you're talking what, 30, just under $40 a month, essentially, like $30 to $35 a month, I believe, if you want to like average it out month over month. So like I said, you do have to take that into consideration. You're talking total at that point about $130, $135 a month, somewhere in that range, if you're averaging it out. But I mean, you're definitely saving big. 5 cents versus 2.5 is, well, I guess you could really go with either one. I'd probably go with this one, to be honest, because there's no point in paying for all that if it's really the same cost. So I'd probably go with this plan, to be honest, especially being that, we didn't even do 12,000, like 16,000 is going to last a long time. So, yeah, that is a good point, though, that you brought up there, King Matt. What kind of message are you talking about? You're talking about replying to leads. Anyone. Leads, current customers, everything. Every single thing would be in here instead of being, an open phone right now. So yeah, no, every single thing, lead, current customer, everything would all be through here, through the SMS, and then through the VoIP plan as well. So yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a pretty good chance that within the next year, um, I might even consider looking into, is there a way that we're able to, one, that this is one other hiccup, one hurdle. I need to make sure both of these numbers can be ported over to GorillaDesk, because if that cannot happen, I'm not moving. I just updated a bunch of marketing material to have this phone number on it. Obviously, my truck has this number on it, and I still have marketing material with that number as well. So if these numbers can't go over to GorillaDesk, then I'm not going nowhere. Like, I'm staying right here with open phone. It just is what it is, unfortunately. I mean, I guess one thing I could do, but again, it would cost me more money. I would have to keep open phone and GorillaDesk, and then just set these up to call forwarding to forward to the GorillaDesk number. But that'd be such a mess that, it probably just wouldn't even be worth it. So I'm pretty sure they can, but if for some reason these couldn't be ported over to GorillaDesk, then that whole plan would probably be dead. So you would put your main business line on there. I'm scared personally, but any concern about people not being able to reach you, girl desk? No, no, not really, because I mean their trouble days are like once a blue moon, just like open phone even has had their own issues once a blue moon. It's not very often, but I mean it's technology, right? I mean hell, Verizon just, I don't know if y'all heard, I mean, Verizon had an outage for like a whole freaking day recently. So, I mean, anything with technology, like shit's gonna happen at the end of the day. I don't really worry about anything that I can't control. Like I used to get so like quick and flustered and pissed off about stuff like that, but anymore I'm just like, you know what? Is what it is. Like always print out your schedule the night before or have a screenshot of it with the address, like whatever you need, think ahead, and then obviously in terms of those potential inbound leads you miss, like I said, I mean it just is what it is. If technology fails, it fails at the end of the day. They can be ported. That's good to know. Thanks for letting me know that, Sean. That took some unnecessary stress off my shoulders because I was just looking into that before the stream and couldn't get a straight answer on it. That's an amazing amount of messages. Wish I had one. No, you do not. No, I'm just playing. Sometimes you do not, but yeah, a lot of it is. So that's the other thing too. This is factoring in sent and received. So, it's about of course you get more received more times than not. You can tell whenever I'm doing follow up, right? Because look at there, on July 8th, 177 sent to only 152 received. So you can see which days like the follow up game is strong versus when it's not, because you'll see like a pretty considerable difference to the sent versus um, received option. But let me see. The only thing I don't like, oh, this is saying total time on calls per day. I was like, there's no way we're spending 35 minutes per call. I promise you. But it's saying per day. So, okay, that makes sense. An SMS charge is not part of your VoIP. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think, let me make sure I read your thing right too. SMS charge is not part of your VoIP with GorillaDesk. That's for the system to, let me see. That's for the system to text customers for you. So let me see. And you can correct me if I'm like misinterpreting what you're saying. So, so if you get VoIP, you essentially, do you not need the SMS text messaging? Like I said, even me, I'm still learning because I don't have either of them. But I thought you were gonna need this to be able to do anything texting related. But like I said, from what I'm understanding, from what you said, this is not really something you have to send text. Let me see what you said. You can have GorillaDesk confirm appointment. Yeah, and I don't even need them to do that either, because usually, like, what we'll do is we send out a what do you want to call it? Like a pre-service text communication the night before. Um, can you do that just in the VoIP, like kind of hand type it out yourself or like set up your own little template? Or do you still need this for like the template and things of that nature? No, the text is in the VoIP. You will have a phone number with GorillaDesk and then your okay, so it sounds like, yeah, then that makes this sound like this isn't even really needed then. If a customer calls your SMS. Okay, that makes, I think I kind of get what you're saying now then, because I was always wondering what they meant by this one. It says if a customer calls your SMS number, it'll be forwarded to your company phone at 4 SMS credit. I was like, that doesn't even make sense, because if I have VoIP, like, wouldn't they just be the same number? But now I'm starting to kind of understand. Okay, so from what I'm understanding, then, like I said, you tell me if I'm wrong. This isn't even really needed at the end of the day. Let's see. GorillaDesk will send the message to type C to confirm, and you'll see. Okay. Okay. That's kind of good to know then. Okay. Then yeah, that's just even more reason at the end of the day to go ahead and do that. Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, everything's leaning towards me more than likely going ahead and doing the VoIP option because of the fact that I'm already saving now 150 being grandfathered in at that $149 rate on the growth plan. Even if I do spend the 95 to $100 roughly a month on the VoIP, like I said, the only thing I don't like is that if we go back and look at that again, um, literally if this was unlimited, just like it is on growth, because I literally just a few days ago had call recording bail me out on a recording from way back in January. So if I was on this, that call recording would not have been there. Maybe I should gripe to Chris a little bit about that. Be like, hey, bro, like you need to go ahead and make that unlimited. Like that's a pretty big deal. I'd pay an extra $5 a month to have that in there as unlimited, or even 10 to be honest. Let's see. I think I missed one from. Let's see. Still a lot. I have local ads and just started my first Google Ads campaign. Still getting less than 10 calls weekly. For just getting started too, man, I'll tell you, like 10 calls. If I remember right, you're the one that's in Missouri, if I recall. And for that area, for just kind of, getting the ball rolling, 10 calls a week is not bad. You're talking, if you're open 5 days a week, 2 calls a day on average. Like, that's the thing. You got to break down the numbers, right? Like, for example, when I was first starting out, I remember I was kind of in the same boat. I was like, man, I only got 6 calls this week, or, I got only 20 calls this week, even when the calls were starting to increase. Like, I would get down about it. I was like, man, I'm only getting like 20 calls. I feel like these other companies are getting 20 calls a day, which, just a little secret, they're not. They're not getting that many calls every day. A lot of it's callbacks and shit like that. But again, you got to work out the math so what are we getting every day. Don't even think about so much of how much you're getting per week. I mean, yeah, you want to know what you're getting in a week, but break it down like, okay, we were open. I was taking calls 4 days this week. I got 12 calls. That's 3 calls a day. Not too bad. You close 40, 50% of them. That just means you got 5 to 6 new clients. Like, it all works out. And you just got to stay on top of it. How's it going, Benji? Have you done a video on quoting commercial clients versus residential? Ooh, good question. I'm trying to think. I feel like I know I've done a video on commercial specifically, but I don't know if I've done one on like my differences in the quote process. If not, I'm gonna write it down too because I literally just quoted a couple and we landed 2 of them too. So I'm gonna write this right here. Video on commercial versus residential quoting. Yeah, just to make sure. Like I said, I'll go back through my video feed and see if there is a specific one. I got a feeling there's not like a comparison. So yeah, I'll look at doing that. Like I said, I know I've done videos, of course, on residential, and I know I've at least done a video or two on commercial pest control, but I don't know so much about like compare and contrast the quoting process. You probably are. If you haven't really landed any, you probably are. I learned that from experience, and where we tend to overbid is mostly on rodent side of it, because this is the biggest, little nugget I'll give. Like I said, I'll do a whole video about it for you guys, but biggest thing that I learned is, commercial, you do far less rodent stations for the rodent monitoring than you do for residential. I had one, and luckily we landed the client. He really wanted us, so he was like giving me all the inside scoop, like, hey, this company, they cost more per station than you, but they're saying that we only need like 10 stations. You said we need like 30. And I was like, what? Because like I remember like I even wheeled it out because I was like, okay, we need a station every like 25 feet roughly from each other. Because even the manufacturers say, set them about 20 feet. So I was like, okay, I know they're going to be a little bit more. I was like, let's do one every 25, even 30 feet. And I had added up like 31 stations or something. And he was like, I just don't get like, yours is like so much higher in terms of the number of stations. Like I said, you're cheaper per station, but you want to put so many more out. One guy said 10, another guy said 8. And I was like, well, I can tell you for sure 8 is not enough. I was like, but if you want to at least try 10, we can try 10 and we can always add more on. Like we talked through it and we ended up landing the client. But that was my first experience where someone openly told me, like, hey, it's a pretty big discrepancy. Not in the price when you actually, do the math in terms of price per station, but because you want to put so much out where, like I said, it was a huge learning experience, and we ended up landing a, $230 a month client because of it, and I'm so grateful for him because, like I said, I mean, everyone's got to learn. I never did commercial work before starting my own business, so all of it was a learning expense for me. And that was this year that this happened. So this is what, 3 years? Imagine how many more commercial jobs I could have been getting had I known this, especially apartment complexes and things like that. So, let's see. Some good news though, snagged 2 customers from other competitors. Can't ever complain about that. But yeah, no, like I said, to your whole point, the biggest thing is usually going to be that you're going in with the residential mindset for commercial, is what I've kind of realized. Is like, it's 2 totally separate ball games. Like that one there, we go out, we pop open 10 rodent stations. Usually 1 or 2 of them have been hit to some degree. We refill them up. We spray only. We don't do any granulating. We do a little bit as needed for granulating, but we just spray. We don't do any web stirring unless if obviously there's some giant, wasp nest in an area where like we don't want a wasp nest being at the front door or something, right? But for the most part, no web stirring of any kind. Like it's just spray, checking rodent bait, and then they give me a little list of, we saw a dead bug here, don't care. We saw a dead bug there, don't care. That's good. But we did see 2 live cockroaches in this room specifically. Okay, let's go hit that real quick. Like you're just doing spot treating essentially, where, like I said, it's just totally different ball game than residential. And again, that's the other thing too. Commercial, there's different types of commercial. The one that I was just explaining, it wasn't a restaurant. A restaurant, you're gonna pretty much go through and do like the entire kitchen, everything you can, right? Obviously, you're not spraying food or anything, but you're doing a lot more in depth of a treatment than you are for like this building with some type of it's like a giant, I don't know if they're like there's some kind of tech company is all I know, and they're in like a 20,000 square foot building, pretty big overall operation. But since there's like no like kitchens really, food, anything like that, we just spot treat the inside. Where, like we said, obviously kitchens, like restaurants and things of that nature are going to be different. So, like we said, there's movie variables with the commercials. Well, like I said, that'll be a pretty good video to do. That should help you all out a lot because it sure as hell it'll help me even just to go back for reference. How's it going, Luca? I'm launching my pest control company in March of 25. Already formed LLC, just waiting on my test. When working on getting my pricing figured out, what would be the best way to calculate? So obviously, of course, just figure out what chemicals are going to be kind of your top three, I would suggest. What's going to be your non-repellent, what's going to be your repellent. Are you going to use any type of granular bait? What are you using on the inside? Is there any gel baits? Like, figure out everything that you're going to use, how often you're going to use it all, at what rates are you going to use it, how many gallons. Like I said, you got to work out all that math to at least have a rough idea of, okay, every year an average residential customer is going to cost this much to service. Every year, again, keyword average. There's going to be ones that are way more. There's going to be ones that are way less. But what is our average commercial client going to be for restaurants? What's our average commercial going to be for apartments? Like, you want to at least have some type of ballpark. That way you know, okay, this is what our chemical cost is going to be. We know that should not exceed 5% of our, whatever our total gross profit is, and just kind of work your way from there. How much do you plan on? Do you plan on getting employees in the future? If so, go ahead and start planning for that. Like we said, that's why I love having whiteboards at the end of the day. Have all that math written down. That way you know, okay, this is the number. This is like my minimum, essentially, that I have to, like, I can't go below this number. Otherwise, we're not profitable. So hopefully that kind of helps with that. And by the way, that's not something you just do once and that's it. There was actually a thread, I think it was in the Pest Control Professionals Facebook group, if I remember right. A guy used ChatGPT to work out that chemical cost math specifically. And all I did was comment, the truth, which was, not enough owners, specifically owners just getting started, do this math at all, let alone do it as often as it needs to be done, which is, in my opinion, at least twice a year, especially with the crazy inflation we've had the last few years. Prices are literally changing very, very rapidly. So, do plan on just sitting down for a couple hours one day, put it in your GorillaDesk, Google Calendar, whatever you use, every 6 months. Just dedicate a 2 to 3 hour window of, hey, I'm going to go analyze how much all this shit costs. Everything, advertising, chemical, employees, like just the full auto insurance, that goes up every 6 months. Like, just have every single thing broken down that you can think of. And then, by the way, little hack, add 10% to that, because everything you think it's going to cost this much, it always costs more. So that's my biggest tip on that. Let's see. Sean said, congrats. Exactly. Yes, sir. One method I've learned is that for apartments, competitors do a retainer fee per apartment and then spray twice a year. That's good to know. I did not hear about that, so that is good to know. At the moment, I'm thinking 100 each service on bi-monthly service schedule. Are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about just in general. Okay, I thought we were still on commercial. My mind was in commercial. 100 service. I mean, are you talking about for like a starting price, or like what are we talking about, an average? That's a whole other conversation too in terms of pricing. I'm assuming you're either saying average or starting, but you feel free to clarify. My best account is one client who owns 3 hotels, including a Holiday Inn. Keep hoping he'll spread the word about me, but no luck yet. And a lot of that too is, like, if I remember right, you just, like you said, I think you said a little bit ago, like, you're still in those early stages. A lot of times I've found that, like, people just won't really refer you until they've been using you for years. Like, now that I've been in business now, 4 years, I'm starting to have a lot more people. Like, the first, I want to say 2 years, like, I might have gotten a couple referrals here and there, but now, like, it seems like right towards the end of this 4th year, the referrals are coming in. Even like people who have done one-time services. I'm getting people who had, like, I have one next Tuesday who I treated him December of 2022. And here it is, almost 2 full years later, calls me up out of the blue. Hey, I need another service. Like, I know that's not a referral, but like the fact that he kept my contact information, like, that means a lot. And you know, those are the type of people that in the future will refer you to. But my whole point is like, I'm just now starting to kind of reap what I've sown over the last 3 to 4 years in terms of referrals. I've had more referrals and more repeat one-time service customers over the last year than I've had in the previous three put together. So, like I said earlier, just keep doing what you're doing, do what you know is right, take care of the people, give them a good service, and all that works itself out the longer that we're in business at the end of the day. Thanks for the info. No problem. When you don't have employees, I think you're pretty much guaranteed to be making that profit per, yeah, to a degree. Yeah, chemicals costs are pretty negligible. Yeah, exactly. 5% is all you usually want to spend on chemical. Everything is pretty negligible compared to payroll. Exactly, 100%. But to be fair, WTF Google, with that being said, you don't want to, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess just ignore it. Like, you still want to be paying attention to all those other costs, because say your marketing's out of control, you're spending 40% on marketing. Like, whoa, that's way too much. Like, say you're spending $500 to $800 on CPAs, like cost per acquisition, right? Way too high when you ring that in, right? If you're spending 10-15% on chemical, again, way too high. Let's try to get that down to 3 to 6%. In some cases, 7, right? Like, obviously, like, there's some flexibility there. Some months are going to be more than others, but um, I don't think you were saying to, just ignore it, but I just wanted to put that out there too for people. Like, you definitely, the more you stay on top of that stuff, the more better it will be for you in the long run too. Yes, sir, regular GPC service. What are you talking about? Oh, the $100. So, like I said, are you talking about the minimum? Like, just, I guess if you're still watching, let me know. Just type in either minimum or average. Like, are you talking about like that $100 is like what you plan on kind of the average being across all customers, or is that kind of like your minimum? I'm guessing your minimum, because 100's kind of low. I mean, it depends on your area too. Um, but $100 per service bi-monthly or quarterly or even monthly at this rate, $100. If that was your average, it's a little cheap in my opinion. Yeah, minimum. Okay, then yeah, that makes sense. Totally. I mean, I've got customers that are at 110 bi-monthly who signed up, way, way, way back when. They're paying what, like 55 plus tax a month over month. Another video idea, contracts, when to use them and how to, oh yeah. That's actually funny because I just sent GorillaDesk. Let me see if I can get it pulled up here. I actually just chatted with them a little bit before tonight's stream. I was just asking them about how we can update the service agreement, just some of the verbiage more than anything. And I copied and pasted and just edited some of the stuff that I would like in the terms and conditions of the service agreement to be updated. So yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. Do service agreement. Well, service agreement and contract are kind of different, at least in my eyes. Like, to me, contract is like you're locked in with us for a year, 2 year, whatever you make it out to be. We do service agreements pretty much across the board with all of our general pest and termite, preferred protection, where they're on everything. We do those service agreements on pretty much everything, especially on like termite work, exclusion work, things of that nature. You absolutely want to use it. And that's the other good thing about their invoice and estimate options on GorillaDesk is you can require a signature too. So a lot of times when we go and quote, say, an exclusion job or something, we have preset like kind of like terms and conditions at the bottom of the estimate, and then we have them, once they approve it, we're like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and resend it to you, but it'll request you do an e-signature on it. Not obviously technically the same as like a full blown contract, but it's at least a document signed by them that acknowledges that you, like, yes, they agreed to everything that was in there. So, um, yeah, definitely, like you said, good topic and something that not enough people take into consideration. A lot of people think, oh, I'm not gonna do contracts. I'm not gonna. Okay, yeah, okay, you say that. Like, let us know how quick you go out of business because you run into the wrong mofo. They're gonna take you out back if they have the ability to do so. So, um, like I said, when it comes to general pest control, we just call them service agreements. It's a 30-day, or unless if they pay per year, then it's yearly, of course, at that point. But, when it comes to the more serious stuff, termites, exclusion, like wildlife related, anything that could damage the home specifically, you want to definitely be taking care of business. Nobody around here charges 100 for regular service. You hit them for 140, 150 for the initial, then usually around 45, 50 per month, a little more for bi-monthly and quarterly. Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, that kind of seems to be about the average, I would say, for quarterly service. Well, bi-monthly, yeah, I mean, I guess it depends where you're at. Quarterly, I definitely agree. Bi-monthly and monthly is where it is very company to company, region to region. That's why, for the most part, we just try to go with quarterly. Are there some instances where monthly is a must? Absolutely. But, um, yeah. Get good with talking to people. I hate door knocking, but when I was actually door to door flyers, I actually enjoyed talking with people who just happened to be outside their home. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's kind of why I'm doing these events too. Like I was mentioning earlier in the stream, it's about just getting in front of people. The more you get in front of people, you're always one handshake away, one conversation away from meeting somebody that could, just revolutionize your business, your life. Like you never know at the end of the day. Let's see. I picked up a few customers for my spider special because there you go. Exactly. Always just a conversation away at the end of the day. But man, I have been on here now with you guys for what, at least an hour, maybe two. How long have we been going now? Yeah, almost two. Wow. So yeah, I mean, hopefully you guys, like I said, this was wow, definitely a catch up live stream. We went over a lot of topics today. If you're still tuning in and you did enjoy the live stream, do me a favor, smash the thumbs up button, share it with somebody, hit the little share button and share it with somebody that you think could benefit from the live stream. Share it on your Facebook, your Twitter, whatever the case may be. Of course, if you're not in our Facebook group or Discord group, like I mentioned, I try to put pretty important notifications that I find when it comes to GorillaDesk, because literally, I mean, you can see I seen the post 24 minutes after it was posted, and I posted it in GorillaDesk immediately. I seen it at 10:35 a.m. I posted it in our Discord group chat at 10:36 a.m. too. So, like I said, anytime I see something that can benefit you guys whatsoever, like I'm on top of at least, putting that out there for you guys, and regardless of what it is too. If it's the BNG deal that I saw I think it was like a year ago, or whatever the case may be, anything that can benefit you, it's always going to go in Discord or our Facebook group pretty quick. And you can also, that's usually the easiest way to, like, quote unquote access me outside of like YouTube comments and things of that nature. And of course, if you have any questions after this goes from a live to a video that you want to drop down in the comments down below, feel free to do so. I love when you all do post questions in the comments because it even gives me video ideas to do, shorts, videos. I think they call them shorts on YouTube still, because there was just a new update where you can do like 3-minute shorts now, apparently. So yeah, feel free to drop any questions you have in the comments of any of the videos or streams, because they give me more video ideas and things of that nature too. Because you all bring up a bunch of stuff that I don't even think about. Let me see what you all said real quick before we head out of here. 65 hours for that. I'm out in Arizona. Called other companies. Prices range from 95 to 130 bi-monthly. Sounds pretty right. No, Yeah, yeah. Awesome. Yeah, 15 miles is pretty good too. Yeah. Yeah, awesome. So yeah, I appreciate you guys as always. Like I said, if you're not already subscribed, of course, what are you doing at this point? Go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell icon. You all know the drill, all that good stuff. And until next time, guys, have a great evening. Like I said, if you have any questions, go ahead and post them in the comments once this goes from a live to a video.